What if I told you that the life you're living right now could be completely transformed by just 6 simple things? Not a fancy degree, not $1 million, not some secret formula, just 6 principles that have stood the test of time. And here's the kicker. You probably already know them, but you're not using them the way you should. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see your life in a whole new light. Let's get real for a second. Life can feel like a mess sometimes. You've got bills piling up, relationships that drain you, and this constant pressure to be more, do more, have more. But what if I told you that the chaos you're feeling isn't because of the world around you? It's because of how you're responding to it. Today, we're diving into 6 timeless principles that can help you take control of your life no matter what's happening around you. These aren't just ideas, they're tools. And by the time we're done, you'll know exactly how to use them. Here's the thing, most of us are stuck in a cycle. We wake up, go through the motions, and hope that someday things will just magically get better, but they don't. Why? Because we're focusing on the wrong things. We're trying to change our circumstances without changing ourselves. And that's like trying to clean a dirty mirror with a dirty rag. It just doesn't work. The real problem isn't out there. It's in here. It's how we think, how we react, and how we see the world. And until we fix that, nothing else will change. All right, let's break it down. These 6 principles aren't just random ideas. They're the foundation of a life that works. And the best part, you don't need to be a genius or have a ton of resources to start using them. Let's dive in. 1. Take responsibility for everything. Let's start with the most important principle of all. Taking responsibility for everything in your life. This isn't just a nice idea, it's the foundation of everything else. Without this, nothing else works. But here's the problem. Most of us don't do it. We spend our lives blaming other people, our circumstances, our upbringing, our boss, our partner, the economy, the government, you name it. We point fingers everywhere except at ourselves. And while it might feel good in the moment to shift the blame, it's also the fastest way to stay stuck. Here's the truth. You are where you are because of the choices you've made. Every decision, every action, every thought, it's all led you to this moment. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start making better choices. This isn't about guilt or shame. It's not about beating yourself up for past mistakes. It's about power. When you take responsibility, you take control. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the creator of your life. Think about it this way. If you're driving a car and you get lost, who's responsible for getting back on track? Is it the GPS, the road signs, the other drivers? No, it's you. You're the one behind the wheel. You're the one who decides where to go, and life is no different. You're the driver of your own life. You're the one making the decisions. And if you don't like where you're headed, it's up to you to change direction. But here's the thing, taking responsibility isn't always easy. It requires honesty. It requires courage. It requires you to look in the mirror and say, this is my life and I'm responsible for it. And that can be uncomfortable. It's much easier to blame someone else or make excuses. But the moment you do that, you give away your power. You become a passenger in your own life, and that's no way to live. So how do you start taking responsibility? It begins with awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Notice when you're blaming someone else or making excuses. Catch yourself in the act and then make a different choice. Instead of saying, this is happening to me, say, this is happening because of me. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I choose not to. It's a small shift, but it makes all the difference. Taking responsibility also means owning your mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We all mess up. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they handle their mistakes. Do they learn from them or do they repeat them? Do they take ownership or do they shift the blame? When you own your mistakes, you grow. When you shift the blame, you stay stuck. And finally, taking responsibility means taking action. It's not enough to just think about what you want or complain about what you don't have. You have to do something about it. You have to take the first step, even if it's small, because action is what turns responsibility into results. So here's the challenge. For the next week, pay attention to how often you blame others or make excuses. Notice when you're giving away your power. And then make a different choice. Take responsibility, own your life, because the moment you do, everything changes. 2. Focus on what you can control. Let's talk about control, or more specifically, the illusion of control. Because here's the truth. There's a lot in life that's out of your hands. The weather, other people's opinions, the economy, traffic, the past. You can't control any of that. And yet so many of us waste our time and energy trying to. We stress over things we can't change, and in the process, we neglect the things we can. But here's the good news. While you can't control everything, you can control some things. And those things are powerful. Your attitude, your effort, your actions, your reactions. That's where your power lies. And when you focus on what you can control, you stop feeling helpless and start feeling empowered. Think about it this way. Life is like a game of cards. You don't get to choose the hand you're dealt, but you do get to choose how you play it. You can complain about your cards, or you can focus on playing them well. You can waste your energy wishing for a better hand, or you can use your energy to make the most of the one you have. And the same is true in life. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. So, what can you control? Let's break it down. First, you can control your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your reality. They determine how you see the world, how you feel, and how you act. And while you can't always control what thoughts pop into your head, you can control which ones you focus on. You can choose to dwell on the negative, or you can choose to focus on the positive. You can choose to think about what's wrong, or you can choose to think about what's possible. Second, you can control your actions. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the effort you put in. You can't control how other people behave, but you can control how you behave. And when you focus on doing your best, regardless of the circumstances, you set yourself up for success. Third, you can control your reactions. Life is full of surprises, some good, some bad. And while you can't control what happens, you can control how you respond. You can choose to react with anger and frustration, or you can choose to respond with calm and clarity. You can choose to let things ruin your day, or you can choose to let them go. And finally, you can control your focus. Where you focus your attention determines where you direct your energy. If you focus on what's wrong, you'll feel stuck. If you focus on what's possible, you'll feel motivated. If you focus on what you can't control, you'll feel helpless. If you focus on what you can control, you'll feel empowered. So how do you start focusing on what you can control? It begins with awareness. Pay attention to where you're putting your energy. Notice when you're stressing over things you can't change. And then make a different choice. Shift your focus to what you can control. For example, let's say you're stuck in traffic. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you use that time. You can choose to get frustrated, or you can choose to listen to an audiobook or a podcast. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you prepare for it. You can't control other people's opinions, but you can control how you respond to them. The key is to stop wasting energy on things you can't change and start investing it in things you can. Because when you focus on what you can control, you take back your power. You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start feeling like the creator of your life. So, here's the challenge. For the next week, pay attention to where you're putting your energy. Notice when you're stressing over things you can't control, And then make a different choice. Focus on what you can control. Take back your power. Because the moment you do, everything changes. 3. Develop a growth mindset. Let's talk about growth. Not the kind that happens to plants or trees, but the kind that happens to people. Because here's the thing, life isn't static, and neither are you. The person you are today doesn't have to be the person you are tomorrow. You have the power to change, to grow, to become better. But here's the catch. Growth doesn't just happen. It's not something that occurs automatically or by accident. Growth is a choice. It's something you have to actively pursue, something you have to work for. So what does it mean to have a growth mindset? It means believing that your abilities, your intelligence, and your potential aren't fixed. It means understanding that you can improve, that you can learn, that you can get better. It means seeing challenges as opportunities, mistakes as lessons, and effort as the path to mastery. But here's the problem. Most of us don't think this way. We're stuck in what's called a fixed mindset. We believe that our abilities are set in stone, that we're either good at something or we're not, that we're either smart or we're not. And when we think this way, we limit ourselves. We avoid challenges because we're afraid of failing. We give up easily because we don't believe we can improve. And we see effort as pointless because we think it won't make a difference. But here's the truth. The only limit to your potential is the one you set for yourself. If you believe you can grow, you will. If you believe you can learn, you will. If you believe you can improve, you will. But if you don't believe it, you won't. It's as simple as that. So how do you develop a growth mindset? It starts with changing the way you think. Instead of saying, "I'm not good at this," say, "I'm not good at this yet." That one little word, "yet," makes all the difference. It shifts your focus from what you can't do to what you can do in the future. It turns a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. Next, embrace challenges. Most of us avoid challenges because we're afraid of failing. But here's the thing, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every failure is a lesson. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn. So don't be afraid to take risks, to try new things, to step out of your comfort zone, because that's where growth happens. Another key to developing a growth mindset is to focus on effort, not talent. Talent is overrated. It's not about how smart you are or how naturally gifted you are. It's about how hard you're willing to work, because effort is what turns potential into reality. Effort is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. And finally, seek out new experiences. Growth doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens when you expose yourself to new ideas, new perspectives, new challenges. So read books, take courses, talk to people who are different from you, try things you've never tried before. The more you stretch yourself, the more you'll grow. But here's the most important thing. Developing a growth mindset isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you do once and then forget about. It's a lifelong journey. It's something you have to work on every single day. Because growth isn't a destination, it's a way of life. So here's the challenge. For the next week, pay attention to your thoughts. Notice when you're thinking in a fixed mindset, when you're doubting yourself, avoiding challenges, or giving up too easily. And then make a different choice. Shift to a growth mindset. Believe in your ability to grow, to learn, to improve. Because the moment you do, everything changes. 4. Master your time. Let's talk about time, because here's the thing. Time is the one resource you can't get more of. No matter how rich you are, how smart you are, or how powerful you are, you can't buy more time. You can't create more time. You can't save more time. You get the same 24 hours as everyone else, and yet most of us waste it. We spend it on things that don't matter, on distractions, on busy work, and then we wonder why we're not getting anywhere. But here's the truth. If you want to transform your life, you need to get serious about how you spend your time. Because time is the one thing that determines everything else. How you spend your time determines what you achieve, what you learn, what you experience. It determines the quality of your relationships, the success of your career, the fulfillment of your life. So, how do you master your time? It starts with setting priorities. Most of us don't have a clear sense of what's important. We let other people, our boss, our family, our friends, dictate how we spend our time. And as a result, we end up spending it on things that don't align with our goals, our values, or our vision for our lives. But here's the thing, if you don't set your own priorities, someone else will. So take the time to figure out what's truly important to you. What are your goals? What are your values? What do you want your life to look like? And then use those answers to guide how you spend your time. Next, learn to say no. This is one of the hardest things for most people to do, but it's also one of the most important, because every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your priorities. Every time you say yes to someone else's agenda, you're saying no to your own. So be selective about what you say yes to. If it doesn't align with your priorities, if it doesn't move you closer to your goals, if it doesn't add value to your life, say no. And don't feel guilty about it, because saying no to the wrong things is how you say yes to the right things. Another key to mastering your time is to focus on what truly moves the needle. Most of us spend our time on busy work, tasks that feel urgent but aren't actually important. We check emails, attend meetings, scroll through social media, and then wonder why we're not making progress. But here's the thing. Not all tasks are created equal. Some tasks have a much bigger impact than others, so identify the tasks that truly move the needle, the ones that have the biggest impact on your goals, and focus on those. And as for the rest, delegate them, automate them, or eliminate them. And finally, be intentional about how you spend your time. Don't just let the day happen to you. Plan it, schedule it, block out time for your priorities, for your goals, for the things that matter most. And then protect that time like it's gold, because it is. But here's the most important thing. Mastering your time isn't about being busy, it's about being effective. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much time you have. It's about how you use it. So here's the challenge. For the next week, pay attention to how you spend your time. Notice where it's going, what you're spending it on, and whether it aligns with your priorities. And then make a different choice. Set your priorities, say no to distractions, focus on what moves the needle, because the moment you do, everything changes. 5, build strong relationships. Let's talk about relationships, because here's the thing. No one succeeds alone. No matter how talented you are, how hard you work, or how smart you are, you can't do it all by yourself. The people you surround yourself with have a huge impact on your life. They shape your thoughts, your actions, your habits, and even your future. So, if you want to transform your life, you need to get serious about the relationships you build. But here's the problem. Most of us don't think about our relationships this way. We take them for granted. We assume that the people in our lives are just there, that they don't have much of an impact on us. But that's not true. The people you spend the most time with, your family, your friends, your co-workers, they influence you more than you realize. They can either lift you up or drag you down. They can either inspire you to be better or hold you back. So, how do you build strong relationships? It starts with choosing wisely. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone has your best interests at heart. Some people will drain your energy, waste your time, and pull you away from your goals. Others will inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. And it's up to you to decide who gets to be in your life. But here's the thing. building. Strong relationships isn't just about choosing the right people. It's also about being the right person. You can't expect to have great relationships if you're not a great friend, partner, or colleague. Relationships are a two-way street. They require effort, commitment, and investment. So, how do you invest in relationships? It starts with being present. In a world full of distractions, one of the greatest gifts you can give someone is your attention. Put down your phone, look them in the eye, and really listen. Show them that they matter, that you care, that you value them. Next, be supportive. Life is hard, and everyone is fighting their own battles. So, be the kind of person who lifts others up, who encourages them, who believes in them. Celebrate their wins, no matter how small. And when they're struggling, be there for them. Offer a listening ear, a helping hand, or just a kind word. Another key to building strong relationships is to challenge each other. The best relationships aren't just comfortable, they're growth-oriented. They push you to be better, to think bigger, to aim higher. So, surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who make you want to be the best version of yourself. And finally, don't forget to give back. Relationships aren't just about what you can get, they're about what you can give. So be generous with your time, your energy, and your resources. Be the kind of person who adds value to others' lives, because the more you give, the more you'll get in return. But here's the most important thing. Building strong relationships takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires patience, effort, and consistency. But the payoff is worth it, because when you have strong relationships, you have a support system, a sounding board, and a source of inspiration. You have people who believe in you, who challenge you, and who make your life better. So here's the challenge. For the next week, take a hard look at your relationships. Are they lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they helping you grow or holding you back? And then make a different choice. Invest in the relationships that matter. Be the kind of person who adds value to others' lives. Because the moment you do, everything changes. Live with purpose. Let's talk about purpose, because here's the thing. Without a clear sense of purpose, life can feel empty. It can feel like you're just going through the motions, like you're stuck on a treadmill, running but not getting anywhere. But when you know what you're working toward, everything changes. You wake up with a sense of direction, a sense of meaning, a sense of fulfillment. So what is purpose? It's not some grand, world-changing mission. It's not about saving the planet or curing cancer, unless that's what matters to you. Purpose is simply about knowing what matters to you, what drives you, what gives your life meaning. It's about having a reason to get out of bed in the morning, a reason to keep going when things get tough, a reason to push yourself to be better. But here's the problem. Most of us don't have a clear sense of purpose. We drift through life, reacting to whatever comes our way. We chase money, success, or approval, thinking that those things will make us happy. But they don't, because without a sense of purpose, no amount of success or wealth will fill the void. So how do you find your purpose? It starts with asking yourself the right questions. What do you care about? What are you passionate about? What makes you feel alive? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? These questions aren't always easy to answer, but they're worth asking, because the answers will point you toward your purpose. Next, look for patterns. Your purpose isn't something you have to invent. It's something you discover. It's already there, in the things you love, the things you're good at, the things that bring you joy. So pay attention to the moments when you feel most alive, most fulfilled, most in flow. Those moments are clues to your purpose. Another key to living with purpose is to align your actions with your values. Your values are the things that matter most to you, the principles you want to live by, the legacy you want to leave behind. And when your actions align with your values, you feel a sense of congruence, a sense of integrity. You feel like you're living the life you were meant to live. And finally, let your purpose guide your decisions. Every day you're faced with choices, big and small. And when you have a clear sense of purpose, those choices become easier. You can ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? Does this move me closer to my goals? Does this add meaning to my life? And if the answer is no, you can say no. But here's the most important thing. Living with purpose isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you figure out once and then forget about. It's a lifelong journey. It's something you have to revisit, refine, and recommit to every single day. Because purpose isn't a destination, it's a way of life. So here's the challenge. For the next week, take some time to reflect on your purpose. Ask yourself the hard questions, look for the patterns, align your actions with your values, and let your purpose guide your decisions. Because the moment you do, everything changes. Now here's the thing, these principles aren't just nice ideas. They're tools that can help you build a life that works, no matter what challenges come your way. But here's the catch. They only work if you use them. It's not enough to just listen to this video and think, yeah, that makes sense. You have to take action. You have to apply these principles to your life, day in and day out. And when you do, you'll start to see changes. Not just in your circumstances, but in how you feel, how you think, and how you see the world. So, let's recap. Transforming your life starts with taking responsibility. It's about focusing on what you can control, developing a growth mindset, mastering your time, building strong relationships, and living with purpose. These 6 principles are the foundation of a life that works. And the best part? They're available to anyone, right now. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect circumstances. You can start today. If you're ready to take the next step, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning, and I've got a lot more to share with you. Let's do this together.